Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Sound Mind. My name is Bryant Collier, and I am so excited that you are joining us today. Listen, if this is your first time here on Sound Mind, you are in for a treat. We are so excited that you joined us. We are in season 2 of this segment, and we have had some phenomenal guests. Now, if this is not your first time with us for Sound Mind, you already know what I'm going to ask you to do. I need you to stop right now and share this with at least 3 people. Even if this is your first time, I want you to do the same thing. A sister, a brother, an auntie, a friend circle, whoever, share this. They want to hear this conversation tonight. It is going to be amazing. While you're hitting that share button, copying that link, I want to acknowledge our producer, the visionary of the Hope TV and Sound Mind, Dr. E. Dewey Smith Jr. We celebrate you, sir, for all you do, and thank you for your wisdom and insight to create a platform like this so that we are able to discuss the matters of not just our spiritual self, but our mind and our heart as well. Listen, there are some people that make this thing happen week after week, day after day. They are our behind the scenes team, our assistant producers, our studio team, our graphic people. I just want to take a moment and say thank you as well. We appreciate all you do to make this possible. Now, friends, I know you've already seen the flyer. You know it's not me talking today. So we want to welcome into our session today Pastor Jeff Fonteroy and Minister Betty Williams. Will you welcome them to Sound Mind today? Hello, my friends.
Hello. Hi.
Hello,
So
my
good
brother.
to see you, and I'm so happy that you're joining us today and that you're here with us. We have come to celebrate recovery, and I am excited to have this conversation with each of you. I'm just going to take a few moments so our guests can hear a little bit about who you are. First, Pastor Jeff Fauntleroy, would you introduce yourself to our guests this evening?
Yes, my name is Pastor Jeff Fonteroy. I serve as the congregational care pastor at the House of Hope under Dr. E. Dewey Smith and under Pastor Jennifer Connor. And those ministries within the congregational care are the men, outreach, um, celebrate recovery, and of course, congregational care.
Great. Thank you so much, Pastor Fauntleroy, for coming today. Minister Betty Williams, will you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm Betty Williams, and I am the ministry coordinator for Celebrate Recovery at the House of Hope Atlanta.
Amen. So, Minister Williams, how long have you been with us at the House of Hope?
I joined in January 2008. I've been there 12
years. Almost 13.
Yes.
Almost 13 years.
Yes.
Yes. Well, we are excited about what you're doing, and that's what I want to talk about. Can you tell us, Minister Williams, a little bit more about what Celebrate Recovery is?
Celebrate Recovery is a program. It's a 12-step program, and it's based off the AANA principles of the 12 steps of recovery. And it came from Saddleback Church in California, Pastor Rick Warren. He had a minister there, Johnny Baker, that was a recovered alcoholic, and he needed a place to go. He felt like he didn't quite fit in with the church people. He didn't quite fit in with AA. So God laid upon his heart this program, and he presented it, a 13-page program, to Rick Warren, Pastor Warren, and he told him to go for it. So it launched in November of 1991. There's over 30,000 churches worldwide that participate in Celebrate Recovery. And for me, what makes it unique is that it is all Bible-based. Our principles, we have 8 principles that comes from the Beatitudes out of Matthew 5 and our 12 steps, but everything is Bible-based. We put Jesus Christ first. He's our Lord and Savior. We already know who our high power is. We don't have to worry about that. We know God is our high power, and through him, we can heal from our hurts, habits, and hang-ups. So
Hurts, habits, and hangups. Minister Williams, I don't know if you know this, but that's Pastor Fonteroy's line when he is sharing the message
really,
about what Celebrate Recovery does. Hurts, habits, and hangups. He tells us that that's what we need. And so I think that's kind of what I want to talk about tonight. Hurts, habits, and hangups. Pastor Fonteroy, what would you say the relevancy of Celebrate Recovery is? How is it needed?
Well, first of all, we're dealing with addictive behavior, and people
Mm,
don't understand that we kind of look at people who are involved in addictive behavior as something that they choose to do.
mm,
But there's something that led them down that rabbit hole, and
mhm,
um, addiction is a disease. It's a disease, and we don't treat it normally in the church as a disease. We treat it
mm,
as something almost of a leper.
mm,
And we want to tell them we're going to pray for you. We're going to tell them that they need more Jesus. They need more faith. But what they need is assistance in dealing with the addictive behavior, and then the underlying source of that addictive behavior. Something caused them to utilize this thing as a getaway from what is bothering them. Um,
mm,
One of the things I noticed as a police officer, when I was a police officer and a minister at the same time, is that talking to people who were involved with addictive behavior, and then knowing myself that nobody wants to do this, but it's, people want
mhm,
escapes, and people eat. We don't look at some of the addictive behaviors that um, many of us are even involved in. Some people overeat. They are emotional eaters,
mm,
emotional drinkers, and they're trying to
mm,
escape something. They're trying to escape a reality that they don't know how to deal with. So there's a behavior that they adapt in order to cope with the underlying situation that they really never had help to deal with. And that's what Celebrate Recovery does. It's a 12-step program that helps people with hurts, hangups, and habits that are from addictive behaviors, and deal with what is the cause of this? What is the root? What got you to this point? And let's deal with
mm.
that, because that's what we got to get out of you.
Now you messed me up, Pastor Fauntleroy, because you just pretty much told me that I could be addicted. Addictions are more than just drugs and pills. And Minister Betty, you were nodding your head. What are these other addictions that we possibly might be using to fulfill a void that we have?
Well, one of the misnomers for me is that most people think people in recovery are there for drugs and alcohol. And while that is definitely true, there's only a third of the people come to Celebrate Recovery comes for drugs and alcohol. Because first you
Mm,
have a hurt, and your hurt can be anything from sexual abuse, like they say, police brutality, adult children of dysfunctional families. So you get that hurt first, and then you get into the hang up. And that's the image part, how people see me. I don't fit in. I don't fit here. I don't fit there, not knowing your place and where you fit in. So you develop the hang up of not being able to cope with the hurt that you first experienced. And then that's when the habit develops, because we find any resource we can, like sex, gambling, anger, control, codependency. All of those are addictions. People don't realize those are addiction or see that as an addictive behavior, but that's where the addiction come in. So that's why we big on working with first, what's the hurt? Why are you hurting? Because everybody have a hurt, and that from that
mm,
hurt, what did you learn to do to cope with that hurt? And then from that addiction, and how we're going to help you through Christ resolve to work on that process.
Help me, Minister Betty. How do you all get to figuring out what the hurt is? Like, what is that process? Because I'm sure there's some people out there now that's like, well, hold on, maybe you're talking about me. Maybe this is actually something I need to be a part of. So help me know if there's some hurt in me that I might need to come to celebrate recovery to be a part of this anonymous community to get help the way I need it.
Well, according to the Bible, we all fall short of the glory of God. We've all sinned and have fallen short. So, what caused you to have a hurt? It may be something as simple as, you know, your parents not being there for you and you hurt from that. So, we all have reasons why we're there. His reason may be different than my reason. Your reason may be different than my reason. But because we have those hurts, that unresolved issues, that sometimes we're not even aware. A lot of people come to celebrate recovery bringing somebody else, and they end up staying and get more benefit out the program than the person they thought really needed the help. So it's a self-help program, self-discovery. We're there to support you. We're not there to fix you. We want to give you a safe environment to find what your issues are, to be able to identify through hearing through other people's testimony and learning and working through the steps. We have lessons, we have testimonies that people can just sit back and relax and, grow by figuring out what's really wrong with me. I know I don't fit in. I know I don't trust people. I know I don't like being around certain people. So it's your process. You take your time. You do what you need to do to grow and learn who you are through Christ.
Mm. I don't
Brian,
know if anyone out there is feeling this, but I feel like someone out there needs to know that there is help for you out there. There is help and there is hope, and you are not out there by yourself. Pastor Fonteroy, you were about to say something.
many addictive behaviors happen um, because of a grieving process. Because I talked about the 6 major losses earlier today, and many people have suffered a loss that they're not even aware of is an actual thing. Systemic
Mhm.
loss. Everybody has encountered that during 2020, where something in your normal system at work or at church, because we're not in the building any longer, there's a systemic loss. People who we used to count on seeing on Sundays, that gave us inspiration, that mom, that mother that gave us a hug, and you look forward to that because you
Yep.
needed that. You had a tough week, and your mama's not here anymore, and you look forward to that. That's not there. That's a systemic loss, and there's a grieving process because of that. Role loss. Many people have been downsized. They've lost their job, or some people have even been promoted, and that's a role loss, because if you're promoted, you can't deal with those subordinates the way you used to. You're not part of the crowd anymore. If you've been let go or you've been demoted, then you lost that role. So that's something that you may not be able to cope with. It's a loss, and you're grieving, and you're looking for something to fulfill that void, to deal with that situation, that loss, that hurt, that material loss, that relationship loss, that intrapsychic loss. My wife can always tell when something's awry, because I'll come home with some corn chips and some French onion dip, and we gonna have a time. We're gonna go at it, um, and I literally have to get to myself and say, okay, that's enough. I'm done. And I know people. I have family members who, um, we've had to cut up their credit cards and take their wallets because they're shopping, shopaholics. They're addicted to shopping, and when they feel down, when they feel depressed, they go shop and they run their credit up, and so that was a addictive behaviors. But there's some again, I go back to, there's some underlying thing that drove them to have an addictive behavior to mask what actually is wrong. And we can't look at people who are involved in that type of behavior as an outcast. We as the church, we as people, have to do what we can to assist. And I'm glad that we have a ministry like Celebrate Recovery. I'm glad that our pastor, Pastor E. Dewey Smith, had the vision to even have this available. In Jersey, when I pastored, we had something called Christians in Recovery, and we did the same thing. So
Mhm.
I'm well aware. And I, as a police officer and a minister, when I saw people from the street that I knew were involved in addictive behavior that gave their life to Christ and came through the Christians in Recovery program, man, I was relieved because I knew that this was the thing that they needed the most. It wasn't a methadone program. It wasn't anything like that. They needed God and a God-based recovery program.
Mm.
And
That's good.
I
That's
like to
good.
agree with that because for me, that's how my healing came, was through Jesus Christ. All the drugs in the
Mm.
world couldn't feel it. Money couldn't do it. Jobs couldn't do it. And it wasn't until I developed a relationship with Jesus Christ that I really began to heal and really began to identify what my hurts were. Why am I hurting? I was trying to fill that void, and through that I couldn't fill with no drug, no money, no nothing. Only way I was able to fill that void was having a relationship with Jesus Christ. That healing came through Christ. So that's what, to me, is what makes Celebrate Recovery so unique. It's a Bible-based 12-step recovery program. Everything we do is centered around Christ. We already know He's our Savior, He's our healer, He's our provider, He's our everything. So, but it takes some time. Different ways. People find Christ different ways. So, we're just there to be available to make sure that, this is a safe place to come explore those hurts, habits, and hangups. You'll find
Mm.
your healing through Jesus Christ. As a matter of fact, our program, we start out with praise and worship.
Mm.
Most people don't realize we start out every service with praise and worship. We open in prayer, then we go into praise and worship because we want to bring God into the atmosphere and acknowledge that He's, give thanks for us being there and to sometimes release the pain to Him. So we start out with praise and worship, and then we go into our lessons, or we have testimonies of other people that have been through the program and still going through the program because it's an ongoing process. It's not, oh, I graduated from Celebrate Recovery, or I graduated from the program. It's an in-depth, ongoing program because the more you explore who you are and the more you're willing to look at yourself, the more things you can find that you need to work on or would like to work on. So
Mm.
we do praise and worship, we do the lessons, then we break out into small group where you're able to share, men share with men, women share with women. We have small group sessions where you can really get open and deep into what's really going on with you, expose some things that you probably never even, I've had people expose things that they didn't even realize they was feeling like that. They didn't even know was
Mm.
there. So,
Mm.
the Celebrate Recovery small group is a session for you to really get down deep and really explore. Like you said, well, how do I know this is for me? That's when you really do the work. It's a work, it's a process. And you really get deep and find out, wow, I didn't know that's why I didn't like my uncle because he molested me. Or I didn't know that's why I don't like this because that event has an effect on you today. So those small groups are there to help you get through that. And we have guidelines to keep it safe so nobody feel threatened, feel, unprotected. We have guidelines that we follow for our small groups to make sure everybody can share and feel that they're in a safe environment.
You know, Pastor Brian, if I may,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
glad. I'm glad Mr. Betty mentioned that because confidentiality is a definite part of Celebrate Recovery. But the good thing about Celebrate Recovery, Mr. Brian and Mr. Betty, is that you've got people who have walked this journey who are
Mhm.
facilitators in Celebrate
Mhm.
Recovery. You don't have people who just volunteered to do this because they know the Bible, they know Christ, and decided, this is a good place for me to volunteer. No, these are people who have dealt with that struggle. They
Mm.
have gone through this addictive behavior of themselves. And because of Christ, they were delivered from that. And now they can give their testimony, but also give an example and say, look, here I am. I'm part of what you're going through. And I'm evidence that through
Mm,
Christ, we can get through this. And through us together, we can walk this journey with you. I understand it fully. Full transparency, I had a walk with the wild side before I knew Christ, and before I was a police officer. I was addicted to
mm,
the streets. Um, y-
mm.
you know, um, I did things that I'm not proud of, and thank God for deliverance, and that's why I'm so passionate about what we do. And Celebrate Recovery to me is near and dear to my heart.
That's so impactful. So, Minister Betty, how long have we had Celebrate Recovery at the House of Hope Atlanta?
Well, we like Pastor Fonteroy said, no one can just come in and just work and Celebrate Recovery. Yes, we all are servants, but to be able to lead a group, it's a process. We started April of 2018, a,
Hmm.
a step study that we looked at ourselves. We looked at the denial, the powerlessness of our addiction, of our behavior. We went through the 12 step program of Celebrate Recovery. It's 4 books, and it takes about a year to do it. And it's hard work of looking at yourself introspectively of what's really going on with me and how God can heal me. And from that's how we decide who are facilitators, who wants to be leaders. So that's how that started. And from there, we just move on, and that's how Celebrate Recovery started. It was in 2018, April, and we launched our first meeting September the 9th, 2019. So we've been up and running now for over a year, and we look forward to it.
Amen.
We do Zoom, and we've been faithful with Zoom since March of this year. Every Thursday night at 6:45, we do our Zoom call, and we still follow the same format. We have a couple of extra things we have to do, like you have to have a headset or be in a room by yourself. You can't record the meetings, and you have to stay on the camera so everybody can see who's there. But like he said, confidentiality, and to keep it personal and maintain anonymity. Nobody else can be in the room with you. We have a husband and wife couple, of course, that's different. But we ask you to be in the room by yourself, so nobody know what you're talking about. Because sometimes you may want to share some things that, about your husband or your wife that you don't want somebody else to hear, don't want that person to hear. So we ask that you maintain confidentiality like that. So, but we've been up
So,
and running since September 9th.
so speaking of COVID, how has the how what does Celebration Recovery look like during the COVID time? And I can imagine that there are so many people who and have discovered more habits in this time than ever before, because we've just been sitting at home. What effect has there been, and what has Celebrate Recovery seen during this COVID time?
Well, initially it was people was afraid. We had a lot of people that got on there, and they were just pure fear because of the unknown. We don't know what this is. We never dealt with it before. How am I going to deal with this? My neighbors got it. Everybody's not doing what the government is telling us to do when we had to shut down. So it was a safe place for people to come and share their feelings and their anger and their hurt of how to deal with COVID. So now we're back to our large group meetings where I was talking about what we have worship service. People have calmed down. They benefit from it, and they're glad that we're there. That they got a place that they can go to on Thursday and still talk about what's going on with them. So we're impactful in that we're still there. We're there every Thursday. People just glad that we're there so that they have a place to come and talk about what they're still struggling with, because somebody a lot of loss with family members. I had one person have lost several family members to the COVID, and they can come on there and talk about their feelings and talk about what's going on with them. So we've been
Mm,
impactful, and helping people to cope and still find ways to maneuver through, like the police brutality even. You know, when we had those episodes with the police brutality, there that brought up a lot of more fear in people. You know, we got COVID, we got police brutality, then we got the election. So it's just a good venue too, just to have a safe place to come and know that God is there first of all. And with him, I know I'm protected. I know I can be who he said I am. I don't have to worry. I can cast my cares upon him, and we just do what we have to do.
Pastor Fonteroy, there is someone out there that is skeptical of possibly participating with Celebrate Recovery. Can you just share with some wisdom for a few moments, just to share your wisdom of the danger of not dealing with your hurts, habits, or hangups?
Mr. Brian, we're in the midst of what I call a Trinitarian pandemic:
Mm,
COVID, racism, and poverty. And everyone is impacted by this.
mm,
Um, you can't go this alone. Let me say this. You see me here as Pastor Jeff Fauntleroy, but from 1977 and a good amount of time after that, I wasn't Pastor Jeff Fauntleroy. I was a guy that you probably would have run from. I was a guy that I don't even know I'm here. Uh, I've been shot. I've been shot at. I've been put in the trunk of a car, uh, duct tape on my way to get killed. Uh, I know that life, so I understand where you are. But by the grace of God, here I am.
mm,
You know, people to this day that I talk to can't believe Pastor Jeff Fauntleroy. That's crazy, um, but it's possible. I know
mm,
where you are right now. I know what you're dealing with. All you want to do right now is mask the hurt, mask what you're going through, mask and escape your reality. I'm here to tell you that there's people who understand what it is that you've been through. There's
mhm,
nothing, nothing at all that you're going through that somebody in our church hasn't worked their way out of. That's a good thing about the House of Hope. And yeah, I brag about it because we've got so many tools available to help you step out of the hole that you think that you're in. You're not by
mm,
yourself. We got some people that are jumping that foxhole with you and fight this battle
Mm-hmm.
and will bring you out of that hole, walk with you in from a hole into wholeness. And I'm a
mm,
witness. I'm a witness that through Christ, I don't say this as a cliche, that there's a brothers right now who will go down to those streets where you are and they'll walk with you and say, man, look, there's another option for you, man. You put those
mm,
drugs away. You put that habit away, man. Take that needle away, man. Stop sniffing that cocaine. Stop drinking that alcohol to the point where you don't even know where you are. Get out of the strip club. Get away from pornography. Get away from gambling. Get away from overeating. Get away from
mm,
whatever addictive behavior it is, and let's deal with the issue at hand that you are trying to mask. Let's deal with that. Let's get underneath this thing, and we'll help you. We'll help you. Celebrate Recovery is one of those tools that's in the tool belt of the House of Hope that's available for you. We've got women's ministry, we've got men's ministry, we've got all kinds of different ministries that are different tools to deal with the surgery that is needed in order to help that person with whatever it is that they're going through. More than anything, God knows where you are, and we want to help
mm,
you. We want to bridge that gap. We want to bring you to Christ. We want to have you open up your heart and let Jesus in so you can be saved. And then you can
Amen.
spend some time with God, and then you can discern the voice of God to the voice of the world.
Mm.
And that's what we're here to do. We're trying to get you out of the hole into wholeness. And
mm,
I'm telling you, I guarantee you that there's somebody in this family that knows exactly what you're going through. And
Mm,
even if we don't, we'll still walk with you. And that's
mm.
the great thing about where we are.
Well, there's only one other question to ask. Minister Betty, tell us if anyone, is interested in being a part of the Celebrate Recovery process. If I've heard this today and I know me or someone else I know needs to be a part of this, tell us, how can we be a part?
Well, you can always contact Pastor Flint Leroy at J Flint Leroy at GTRBC at
Oh, they can contact you,
gtrbc.org.
Betty. Give your
Or you can
information.
contact me, blwilliams678 at yahoo.com. And I'll give you my phone number, 404-838-3833. Anytime. It's never too late. No matter what you're feeling, we're here to walk you through it, to take you by the hand and let you know that you're not forgotten. You're a child of God. You're worthy. He loves you, and so do we. We just want to be there to help anybody walk through whatever struggle they're going through. And like he said, we may not have been through that particular struggle, but there's someone there that can always help you, can always identify with what you're going through. So blwilliams678 yahoo.com. And my number is 404-838-3833. And I love Celebrate Recovery. And I just want to say one thing. Celebrate Recovery has 3 components. There's a youth component for kids 5 to 12 called the Landing. And then they have one for teenagers from 12 to 18. And then we have the adult. There's actually 5 generations in some aspect of Celebrate Recovery in different groups. Just like we have 5 generations. I know of people that have 5 generations in that family that comes through Celebrate Recovery. So there's always healing in Celebrate Recovery. And we just want to be here for you. Let you know that we love you.
Minister Betty, Pastor Fonteroy, thank you so much for sharing this jewel
Thank you
of
for the
Celebrate
opportunity.
Recovery. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Listen, family out there, if you or someone you know may have a hurt, a habit, or a hang-up, maybe you are looking and trying to find fulfillment in something that is still leaving you empty, Celebrate Recovery is here for you. You have Minister Betty's information, phone number, and email. She is serious about this. She and other individuals are ready to walk with you through this process to heal and wholeness. I want you to tag someone, share this, even if you send it privately, send the link, let them watch it, let them hear this information. There is something special for you in this. Thank you, Minister Betty and Pastor Fauntleroy, for
Thank
what
you.
you do. You are definitely making an impact in the kingdom. Family, thank you so much for watching with us today. And as I say all the time, Jesus just doesn't want your body to be healed. He wants your mind and your heart to be healed as well.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
this week, go with God and make sure you are doing the work to make sure you are well and that you have a sound mind. Until next time, take care and we'll see you later.
Thank you.